management. This is video 1 of a series of 20 free training videos about project and program management. Introduction to Alpus Group. Alpus was founded in Slovenia in 2015 and is based within the European Union, also in the United Kingdom. We operate in the United Kingdom, in Europe, that's within and out with the EU, and in the Middle East and South Africa. About Alpus Group. Achievements. Alpus Group has property assets in the UK, in Europe and beyond. Alpus has a track record of project management success over many years for commercial and publicly owned clients. Our culture is to create property wealth through the application of project management, technical and financial expertise and resources towards leveraging additional assets, value on assets. And our ethos is to apply our expertise and technology for the benefit of our customers and shareholders. This is me, Alan Edwards. I'm the Managing Director. I've got extensive experience in the management of property developments and infrastructure projects in the UK and internationally. I started work at 16 years old, working for a building contractor in Hampshire, United Kingdom, and I worked for contractors, top-tier consultants and clients. See references and testimonials. We carry out city centre developments, rural developments, apartments, flats, executive houses, mixed-use developments, that's retail, offices, residential, hotels, both in city environments and in resort environments. And we carry out railway project infrastructure developments. We've got experience of the whole design and construction process on many types of projects, ranging from the smallest to the largest. We recommend the most appropriate procurement and contracting strategy for the project in hand, and we give the benefit of our experience to many projects worldwide to achieve optimum time and cost. And we have first-hand experience of many different contract types. We set up monitoring and reporting systems on every project so as to track and control key issues. We recommend the following 20 key factors are addressed to ensure project success. Key factor 1, a clear and concise project brief. There must be a clear and concise project or program brief that defines the scope of works, the fundamental design parameters and the employer's requirements, such as the budget costs, the program time schedule, specific operational performance requirements and quality requirements. The project or program brief should be the vision of the sponsor of the project or program. Key factor 2, funding and finance. The project or program must be adequately funded and financed, which is a function of a clear project or program brief and an initial risk assessment and establishment of a suitable contingency amount to be included within the budget to cater for all possible outcomes affecting performance against both time and cost of the project. So the amount of risk dictates the amount of contingency. As risk is mitigated, so the budget can be refined going through the project. With our extensive contracts, Alpus can help you to find the necessary finance to enable your project to happen. And risk management will also continue through the life of the project, and we will ensure that risks are managed by individuals in order to mitigate and close them out. Key factor 3, adequate finance and governance arrangements. So adequate funding must be in place with sufficient finance available to deal with the possible outcomes identified in the risk assessment and the necessary contingency amounts provided should the worst case happen. The governance arrangements of the project may require authorization from the funding authority and drawdown of funds in stages or at particular milestones. Key factor 4, the site needs to be available and accessible. The project site needs to be available and accessible to the contractor or contractors. It sounds obvious, but all land expropriation needs to be completed in a timely way so that the contractor may be handed vacant possession of the site. And if the land is to be reclaimed, for example from the sea, then the right conditions and accessibility need to be put in place for that to happen on time. If part of the site is not available from day one, then a date within the formal contract agreement needs to be written and agreed to confirm when it will be available, and the contractor needs to be aware and program for the balance of the site's incorporation and fulfillment of his contract obligations. This is a phasing or staging agreement. All enabling works need to be planned and completed. Key factor 5, regulatory permissions. The site must have the necessary statutory, as planning permission for the development of the type planned to be made before the work is started. In the case of mega transport projects, these may be carried out under a Transport and Works Act order and subject to government or Treasury approval. You will normally need to seek outline and detailed planning permission unless you have permitted development rights under the Town and Country Planning Order 2015. You will also need to have building control permission for execution of the works in accordance with the building regulations. Key factor 6, agreements with neighbours and utilities. Agreements need to be in place with all necessary neighbouring properties such as railways and underground or light railways where special protection measures may be needed. Especially in the case of party wall arrangements, that's shared boundary wall conditions, then party wall designs and agreements will need to be carried out. If there is an existing building on the site, then the demolition either needs to be carried out prior to the contractor starting work as enabling works, or it needs to be part of the contractor's scope of works, and you should not forget about existing services under a building that need to be terminated and removed or diverted. Key factor 7, utility connections and protection or diversion. Protection of utility services may be required, alternatively they may need to be diverted. Major utilities such as gas, electricity, water, sewers and communications, fibre optic cables, etc. may need to be protected or diverted, and time will be needed to effect such activities. Utility companies have particular conditions and specifications for works carried out in the vicinity of their services. You'll need to fully survey all the existing services and identify any planned routes nearby as well. Key factor 8, enabling or advanced works. Enabling or advanced works contracts are sometimes used where it will be advantageous to carry out such work as utility diversions or protection works and site clearance in advance of the main contract works. Key factor 9, the appropriate contracting or procurement strategy. The appropriate contracting strategy must be chosen so that designers and suppliers and contractors are brought online at the right time to effectively complete their work in a timely way in accordance with the project or program brief. The choice of contractual arrangement, and especially the form of contract, should be appropriate for the type of work being carried out. From the point of view of clarity of responsibility, design and build contracts provide one of the best ways for clients to ensure that they will not receive claims from contractors as a result of deficient designs. Key factor 10, the designs must be complete and buildable. The design for the project must be fully coordinated and available and buildable to the extent provided in the contract. That is, the design must be able to be implemented and fulfill its design requirements, objectives and functionality. This is a significant issue, and someone must be responsible for checking the buildability of the design to ensure that there will be no problems with the implementation of the design. Firstly, it is the designer's responsibility, but the contractor must also check that this is the case before implementation. I emphasize before implementation. The last thing you want is for your contract to be held up while a design is revised to enable the contractor to proceed. Contractors need time for their own procurement of suppliers and subcontractors, so there is often a significant lead time following issue of design production information for supplier contract award and shop or fabrication drawings. Key factor 11, quality assurance and control. Quality assurance and control does not just happen. You need clear specifications of all the work to be read in conjunction with the drawings. You need to specify your quality assurance and quality control requirements within the employer's requirements and ensure that you have a satisfactory system for ensuring that these standards are met. That's ISO 9001-2015, usually by employing a contractor who has such quality systems in place, or more recent ones. Key factor 12, building information management. Building information management and modelling, that's abbreviated as BIM, is a means of coordinating the designs and giving all parties access to the full design and specification of all components, which is available for future construction, operation and maintenance of the building. This is highly recommended from the start. Also, technology should be used by all parties to maximise efficiencies on the project. Viz. Drones and survey equipment for setting out and records, provided of course these can give the necessary level of accuracy that's needed on the project. Key factor 13, collaboration between the parties. What is needed is collaboration between the multitude of suppliers and subcontractors, designers and contractors, as well as all the stakeholders to the project. Conflict between the parties causes delay, which will inevitably increase costs. Contract forms should be considered to ensure that collaboration is part of the contractual obligations and culture of the project. Key factor 14, health and safety. Health and safety must be a consistent fundamental provision through the work of all parties, such as employer, designers, contractors, subcontractors, suppliers, and other consultants, and there must be a project safety culture. All statutory health and safety legislation must be complied with and exceeded where possible, and all parties have obligations to comply with this requirement. This is a fundamental, there's no negotiation. There must be absolute compliance with health and safety legislation, and certainly on projects we're involved in, we insist on a total safety culture for any project. Key factor 15, stakeholder management. All stakeholders must be identified and engaged, and their needs must be recognised and incorporated into the scope of the project. Stakeholders must also be informed of developments on the project and issues that are of concern to them under a stakeholder management strategy, under which responsibility is allocated to project team members for stakeholder liaison. That's regular communication and meetings, informing stakeholders about things that they are concerned about. Key factor 16, communications. Project team must arrange good communications so as to be able to identify and overcome all the problems which may arise in an efficient manner. This requirement includes representatives from the employer, project manager, designers, contractors, construction managers, if there is such a party on the project, also specialist subcontractors and suppliers whenever necessary. There must be an efficient communication protocol so that issues are logged and raised to the appropriate party for resolution quickly. In case some team members are not always in the country where the projects are located, then email and Skype or video Zoom conversations may be essential. Key factor 17, progress reporting. There must be regular progress reports against the master program, time schedule and budget. Critical issues must be identified and appropriate corrective action taken in a timely manner so as to correct or recover the situation. All stakeholders and interested parties must receive regular progress reports explaining what is happening and what are the current issues needing resolution so that they can engage about them. There must be regular progress meetings between all the parties to discuss progress at design, procurement and construction stages, and to identify problems and to quickly resolve critical issues. Key factor 18, interface management. Interfaces are often cause for concern, especially where there are obligations to complete work that interface with your own project. So there needs to be a plan in place for interface management involving stakeholders, designers and contractors. Key factor 19, decision-making and problem resolution. There must be a culture of decision-making and problem resolution, As on many projects, there are unexpected and unforeseen issues that arise, and the most suitable and responsible person, usually the contractor or designer or project manager initially, must decide what to do in a timely way so that problems do not fester and cause delays and additional costs. Client approval to such extraordinary measures and decisions may be required, and authorization of variation orders may be needed. Nevertheless, it's important to quickly decide on resolutions to problems and move on with that decision. Key factor 20. Leadership is needed from time to time, but not necessarily always come from the same person. Teams working together collaboratively can demonstrate leadership. This is our details. If you want to book a 30-minute exploratory call with me, go to this link, https://calendly.com/AlanJE. If you're interested in a free contracts checklist, go to the other tiny URL link shown there. And if you're interested in further property development training from Alpus Group, go to the second tiny URL listed there. Or alternatively, just give me a call on 07539 141 257. See you in the next video.